All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Jono, and I am super excited because we've got an awesome guest on the line this week. And I know I say that every week about every guest, but this person really is awesome. A little bit about her. She's a multi-award winning fitness educator. She's an international presenter. She's created multiple courses and certifications. She's the host of the successful podcast, The Rachel Holmes Show, and she's a weapon when it comes to everything business, specifically for group fitness instructors, but also other fitness professionals as well. So without further ado, let me introduce the one and only Rachel Holmes. Rachel,
Wow,
how are you?
fantastic. Thank you for that fantastic welcome. I'm really excited to be here. We had to get the time schedule right. You being in Australia, me being in the UK, but we've managed it, and I'm really happy to chat with you today.
Yeah. Rachel's just come back from school pickup, and I've just put the kids' bed down for bed, and I'm ready for bed myself. But obviously, this is going to keep me up. So, Rachel, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? How'd you get into it?
Okay, so I've been in the industry a long time, so there's a lot of history here, Jono. I started teaching in 1986. Can you believe that? That's such a long time ago.
1996?
1986.
How did you do that before you were born?
I was born in 70 and I started teaching at 16 when I went to college. So it was just the beginning. There was no fitness industry. It was just Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda was out. She was doing her thing, and there were sporadic gyms, bodybuilding gyms in the UK that were popping up. Magazines with muscle and fitness, and it was generally Miss Olympia in all of the magazines. And many of those, we would call them sweat and sawdust gyms, would have a dance studio. And initially it was pop mobility, then it went into aerobics, and I started going to an aerobics class when I was at school, and just loved it. Loved everything about it. Music, dance, fitness, the whole thing. Really enjoyed it. And I come from an entrepreneurial family, and I spotted that there was an opportunity here. This could be something that could be something. We didn't know what at that time. So I went through college and then started teaching aerobics to the college students. And then my mum and dad had a public house here in the UK with a big function room. And I started teaching, holding classes, and all the regulars would come, do my aerobics class, and then stay and have a drink afterwards. So
That's great.
it was very early days. Yeah. Early days in the fitness industry.
Question there, Rachel. When you said study, did you study like fitness at college, or was just unrelated?
No. I went to college to start doing my A levels, but pretty soon dropped out. There was no formal fitness qualification at that time. It was just coming through. Yeah, it's just coming through. It's the YMCA actually, and I live very close to a huge sort of sporting university, Loughborough University, and Loughborough were pioneering. They were running these exercise to music qualifications at the time, so that would be 1987. So I enrolled on that course and trained and did probably the first wave of training, group exercise training in the UK.
Gotcha. All right. From there, what happened? Keep this story going. What happened?
Oh my gosh, keep going. So then it was very early days. So it was hiring space, hiring halls, community centres, working in gyms, leisure centres, and just generally being self-employed and just driving around doing classes. And it was all aerobics at the time. There was a huge convention really started in the late 80s, 88, 89, and that was at Loughborough University. And there was an organisation. So we've got IDEA in the UK. I think Australia had got Philex by that time.
Yep.
I think Philex was there.
Yeah. When was it? 90s?
Late 80s.
Yeah. Philex started early 90s kind of thing.
Yeah, so it was all sort of happening around the world. IDEA definitely, because IDEA was definitely there in the US.
Yep.
So as it was called ASIT. So then ASIT had a convention, and I happened to know a network with the organizer who lived quite close to me, and she invited me to present Aqua. Would you believe it? So there was no aqua classes, and I just had a little book called Aqua Aerobics by a lady called Glenda Baum, which is a long time ago. Read the book. She was a physiotherapist that was doing water sort of rehab, and I created an aqua aerobics class, and I presented it at that event. And from then on, I just started presenting around the country. I was very much into music. I had a boyfriend at the time who was a DJ, so I'd got two Technics twins. I was buying records. I was kind of putting music together, and it was cassettes then. I mean, we are talking such a long time ago. And I was mixing up my own music, recording my music, and then just really inspired to create very, very well. There was nobody to look at really then. It was just
Yeah.
creating what I thought people wanted. I started going to the Idea Convention in the US
Yep.
early
Love it.
90s, and then we got sponsored. I got sponsored by Nike. At the time, Reebok had launched their freestyle shoe, and Nike didn't. Nike was all. It was very much male dominated. It was running, and they didn't really have a female or a woman's. They didn't really have anything that was related to women's apparel or footwear. So they bought out a shoe. They were based in Gateshead at the time in the UK, and they looked for a team. We were called Nike Fitness Athletes, and we were fitness instructors from around the UK, and we were a team. So we started doing, shopping malls and opening sports clubs, and we ended up going to Beaverton, and we were really going to a lot of the Idea conventions. So I was very much exposed to what was happening in the US, again in Australia. So that was a huge eye opener really then, and it was an amazing sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic deal, and I worked for Nike for many, many years, helped them develop their total body conditioning programs. And also at the same time, we had an Australian company came over to the US, and they started Fitness Professionals. So the FitPro event began, and I began to work for FitPro, and again presenting for FitPro, and started to do tours around the UK. So these are the times we would do 20 dates, we would do choreography, aerobic step, body conditioning. There'd be 3 presenters, used to be called Choreography Club, and we would go to all the regions and all the main towns in the UK, and they would be sold out, hundreds of people, hundreds of instructors. So it's early 90s, and I
The good
built
days, right?
good days, Jono. I mean, I really learnt my craft then. FitPro were a very professional organisation, and they really took the events, the conventions to a whole new level. And it really opened my eyes business-wise, because not only were people coming for the workshop, but FitPro was selling them the VHS, the choreography
Mm.
notes, the music, the sweatshirt, the apparel. And I realised there was a huge secondary spend
Yeah.
because we were operating these big events, and I just was blown away by the opportunity there. So everybody was hungry for more information, more ideas, more choreography, and it was my forte. I could come up with choreography reasonably easily. So I joint ventured with another one of the other Nike fitness athletes, Jane Nichols, and we started our own sort of fitness workshop company, and we started to tour around the UK together. So we were working for FitPro, and then we were doing our own events, and there were lots of other people doing events that I was working in. So
Mm.
I was building up a really big network and a really solid
Mm.
foundation of people that still follow me and still come to my events and workshops now. So
Question: This was what, mid
yeah,
nineties,
mid 90s, yeah.
before the internet or before social
No,
media?
it was kind of the internet was coming around 98, 90. You got CompuServe, you got AOL, you
How'd you
kind of
connect
got
with? How'd you use people?
dial up. Yeah, I would get
How'd they follow
everybody's
you?
address. I'd get everybody's
Yeah.
address, and I
Wait,
would send them all a
email,
mailer in the.
a physical
So
address.
before I would get their
Yeah.
home
Wow.
address, and I would get
Yeah.
and I had a huge database of everybody's name and address, and I would
Wow.
send manually in the post, snail mail, all
Wow.
the
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
the flyers.
That's cool. Do you still, out of curiosity, do you still do that at all?
No, I knew then that the world was moving online. So
Yeah.
at that time, I could see, I'd got an AOL account, I'd got a
Yeah.
computer, and I actually had a friend who started to develop websites. A girl that I went to school with started to develop websites, and she said to me, "Look, this is going to be the way forward. You need a website." So in the late 90s, I got a website, I got my own
Right.
domain, rachelholmes.com, and I really thought that everybody would have an email address and a website by that time. I was a little bit
Mm.
ahead of it
Yeah.
before. I realized that a lot of people were perhaps on their husband's email or their partner's or email, or
Yeah.
they didn't actually have a computer. But I worked out that people were buying DVDs, they were buying VHS before that. I thought if we can put 10 minutes of choreography online, people would do pay-per-view. I was
Mm.
seeing other industry doing that. The adult industry was doing that at
Mm.
the time. And I thought, well, if the adult industry can do it, often actually the adult industry leads the way with
Yeah. Yeah.
technical.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if they're streaming that, maybe we can start to stream 10 minutes of step, 15 minutes of aerobics. So she created me a website. We called it Choreography to Go. It was dial up, and I started selling 10-minute downloads. So I've had
Mm.
that, yeah, 25 years ago. Yeah. And I started
Wow.
selling choreography and training online via the website. The fitness industry was a bit slow, to be honest, to catch
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that this would be it. This is what everybody was doing. And yeah, I got a big database of people. I was collecting email addresses then from around the world. And that's how my digital business started. And I've still got that same website. Obviously, it's gone
Yeah.
through many iterations.
Yeah, yeah.
But I realized early on that the way forward was digital for
Yeah, that's great.
online education anyway.
And that's what you do a lot of now, right? I see you've got
Yeah,
different menopause certifications, Pilates
yeah.
certificate, mainly online, are they?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were running training courses, so I then developed the business to become a training provider.
Mm.
So the business then had become a lot more, the fitness industry had become a lot more formal. Level
Yep.
2, level 3, level 4 qualifications were being written. There were standards, UK industry standards, and the whole sort of education side of the industry was leveling up. We
Mm.
got the awarding bodies, we got accreditation. And it was becoming a lot more professional at that time. So my business became a training provider and we started running the level 2, level 3, level 4 qualifications as they were developed. And initially we were running kind of a hybrid model. And for a long time, my business was quite frowned on. People saying, well, you can't train, you
Yeah.
can't become a fitness
Yeah.
teacher, you can't do it online. And I faced a lot of pushback from a
Yeah.
lot of the big organizations. But again, I pushed through because I really thought, look, this is the way forward is going to be digital. So for a long time we were hybrid. So we were running a certain amount of training days live
Yep.
and we were doing sort of lectures, anatomy and physiology online, and it was working really well. So I
Mm.
built the platform, my own platform, but it was getting difficult then. It was the costs were rising, hiring space, going into
Mm.
health clubs. At the time, I could use a health club at the weekend. Health clubs didn't used to be busy at weekends. I don't know if you
Mm.
can remember that in Australia. They were busy Monday to Friday and then they were always dead at the weekends. So the studios were always up to be hired. So we could hire them and do an exercise to music course or whatever course it would be. But as health clubs became more competitive, they started putting more activities on at the weekend. So their
Mm.
space wasn't available for hire. So it's getting difficult to find venues around the UK where you could actually hire for a day or
Mm.
2 days consecutively or however many days. So we were pivoting online. I mean, this is a very long story in a very short space of time. So we built the website and we built the platform. And of course, then when COVID came,
Yeah.
my business was
Transition's
just
beautiful.
completely geared up for it. So I was able to switch straight away. COVID came, we trained more instructors, we trained more people. We were working pretty much through all of the lockdowns, putting on more courses because the demand was just incredible. And
Mm.
then I decided we would stay online. Our USP as a training provider was to do everything online live. It's not just by videos. There's a live, there's a Zoom, there's interaction. And then
Mm.
the focus would be regional events, meetups, brunches,
Yeah.
gatherings that we would put on through the year, and that's really the trajectory of the business today.
Yeah, that's great. What I hear from that story, you've always been not even one step ahead of the game, Rachel. Like, I feel people are just streaming now in the
I
fitness
know.
industry. You're doing it in the 90s, you know? So that's great. Hey, super inspiring story, Rachel. I'm sure everyone listening to this is like, wow, that's cool. That's inspiring. But I want to do that. You know, how can I make waves in the industry? So I'd love to get your biggest tips on how someone can be a successful. Let's target it specifically for group fitness instructors.
It's
What's
never
your take there? Yeah,
Jono,
what's
it's never been a better time to be a group fitness instructor. Very few people in the 90s wanted to be fit and healthy. It was a very small market. We've
yeah.
got a huge market right now. And wherever you want to put your focus, whether you want to focus on Generation X, whether you want to focus on
Mm.
menopause, whether you want to focus on people that have had a hip replacement, a knee replacement, there are so many demographics of people that want to be fit, strong, and healthy.
Mm.
It's wide open and you can reach people for free
Mm.
using this. This is all you need. It blows my mind every day I get up that I can go onto a social media platform and literally reach thousands of people with a piece of content. It's mind blowing. Conversation earlier, I would have to spend £5,000
Yeah.
mailing out to my 25,000 strong my mail list.
Mm.
Now I can sit here in my slippers at home and I can reach people. And you know
Mm.
what, Jono? It's even easier now to do that because you and I discussed this earlier. A year ago, 2 years or 5 years ago, you would have to build a following. You would have to
Mm.
build a social media platform.
Yeah.
Because of how the algorithms work now, we're seeing the TikTokification of social
Mm.
media. So if somebody looks at strength training for women over 60, looks at that online and finds a video, all of the social media platforms then will
Mm.
deliver more of the same content to you, to that person. So if you can create the right kind of social media content that is going to be attractive to your target audience, who you want to reach, then you can reach them now without even having to have a big following or an audience. Now, there's a
Mm.
strategy to it. It's not
Mm.
just put a piece of content out there. There is a structure. You can do that now, which you've never been able to do over the last few years. So I think it's very exciting, whether you're a fit pro, yoga teacher, Pilates teacher, whatever you want to do within group fitness, you can now reach your people, reach your audience.
Followers means a lot less now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. I still think you need to build an audience, and I think it's very important that you
Mm.
build a personal brand. People
Mm.
need to know who you are, what you stand for. They need to know a little bit about you. They need to know, like, and trust you. It's that old saying, they do. But it's not about putting your whole life on social media. It's just being very clear of who you want to help. Any business needs to solve a problem. What's the problem that you're solving? So if it's a local community class that you are promoting, then you would promote that in a different way to if you've got an online membership or you want to attract people online. People come into a local class, a community class, they're wanting different things. They're looking for
Mm.
friendships, connections. They're looking for a community. Online also looking for a community, but they're probably buying in because it's time efficient. They're time poor. They've not got the time to drive to a gym, go to book a class. They want something that's effective. So they are marketed in two very different ways. But it's just about being really clear. What do you offer? What are your skill set? Who do you want to reach? What is your proposition? What do you want to offer?
What do most of your clients do, Rachel? Do most of them try and be that local superstar? Or do most of them go online and reach a bigger niche? Is it a mix? What do you see with your
Yeah.
people? And more specifically, probably the successful ones.
Yeah. What we
Yeah.
see now is what I would call the hybrid instructor. And the hybrid instructor is probably using her community or his community classes as the hub. So we
Yeah.
start maybe with local classes. You
Yeah.
build a name, you build a following. Now in the UK, it might be slightly different in Australia, but after COVID, things have changed. We're not competing with other people, I don't think. We're competing for people's time.
Mm.
Everybody's time poor.
Mm.
And we're finding that perhaps, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are the busiest days for group exercise in the community.
Mm.
And now Thursday, Friday is not a particularly great day. It might be Saturday morning's good. So it looks like if you look at the weekly timetable, there are probably just a few key times and days where you can maximize a local class, a local community class. So maximize that. Make sure those classes are full, you're visible. Everybody in the local area thinks fitness, they think you,
Mm.
they see you're top of mind. And so that's one part of your business. The second part of your business is developing your online business. So it might be that you run online, inverted commas, sort of challenges or programs, and you might run these seasonally. So you might have some kind of pre-summer program. You might have a back to school type program. You might have a pre-Christmas program, a January program. And these can be sort of 4-week programs, 6-week programs. They can be ran on your own website. You can use social media. Facebook groups are still fantastic. You can go to school and use the school platform. There are loads of ways that you can deliver this. This is going to complement your community classes, and it's also going to open you up to a bigger audience, a global
That's
audience, in
great.
fact. Now, that might work really well. You might be happy with that, but then potentially that could lead on then to a membership. It might lead on
Mm.
to an app. I think it's quite difficult to start selling memberships
Yeah.
and subscriptions. They're hard.
Yeah.
And
Without
I
a
think
following.
anybody that tells you otherwise, it's difficult.
Yeah.
I think it's different in the US.
Well, maybe, but I also feel like membership's great. If you've got
Yeah,
10, 20,000 followers, all
yeah,
right, and you only need a small percentage of them to sign up, that's fine. But if you don't have that, it's just so hard. It's not worth
very
the amount of
hard.
effort you need to put in to get 10 people on,
It's
that.
really
It's
true.
not worth it. Yeah.
It's really true. But I think if you run sort of satellite programs, shorter
Mm.
programs online, they work really, really well. It might be
Yeah.
a 4-week summer program, and it could be a well-being program. It could be Pilates,
Yeah.
and these could be passive or active.
Yeah.
Again, I'm all for people creating the business that fits into their lifestyle. So
Mm.
you might think, actually, I want to deliver this content live. I want to deliver it on Facebook Live or Zoom. I like that interaction. Actually, I'd rather pre-record this
Mm.
information, pre-record the workouts, pre-record the talks, create your PDFs, create your posts, and then people can just either take it all in one go, they can have the whole thing, or you can drip it. All of these
Mm.
work. They're all really good delivery methods. It's just picking the right one for you.
Yeah.
So you've got your community classes, you've got your online sort of hybrid. And then
Mm.
I think workshops and events, we're seeing
Mm.
this huge, again, in the UK base, we're seeing this, people want experiences. They
Yeah.
want to go to a sound bath. They
Mm.
want to go to a talk, a nutrition talk. They want
Mm.
to try a
Ice bath
static
or
dance.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they might want to do Pilates, they might want to partner up with a local restaurant and do a Pilates and brunch. And I
Mm.
think this is your third element of your hybrid business model
Right.
where you're running sort of regular events. Now, these can be really small. We're
Mm.
definitely seeing a market for small, intimate brunch type events or
Mm.
sort of run clubs. I mean, you know,
Mm.
we've got the summer solstice coming up on the 20th, something around that. These are brilliant for PR. You can get
Mm.
amazing social media content from them. They
Yeah.
can be a higher price point,
Yeah.
and they set you up as being an expert, somebody that's creating a whole experience here. And I've seen lots of fitness professionals who found that creating and curating these fitness or well-being experiences, actually that now has become the biggest revenue driver in their business. It's
Yeah.
overtaken the community classes, and maybe they've reduced down the community classes because the community classes are still feeding the
Yeah.
events. They're great funnels.
Mm.
Maybe they're not the revenue driver that they once were. And then both of those feed into your online programs. You know, I've just been away to the Canary Islands. I've been teaching there for a week and I met loads of great people. They did my class. So what's the next step for them? Oh, they want to come and join me online. So
Mm.
an outreach event, you know, you take you've got your QR code, you're telling everybody to follow you on social media, and then they're coming to your online classes as well. So each element, it's like this full circle package. I think each one is a great way of building revenue into the business and having multiple streams of fitness income.
That's great. Let's summarize that for the listeners, and then let's even break each one of these down bit by bit. So Rachel suggested the hybrid program, essentially three things. The first thing is your local community classes. The second thing is some variation of online, and then the third thing is some variation of workshop and events. Let's go through them one to three. So when you say local classes, Rachel, you're kind of talking about in a park or hiring out a hall as
Yeah.
opposed to working in a gym as a group
Yeah.
fitness instructor. That's what you're talking
Yeah.
about there, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of group exercise instructors who are working in facilities and gyms.
Mm.
In the UK, the pay is very low now. It's a
Mm.
very low paid job.
What is that out of curiosity, roughly?
Well, it's really you're probably looking at about £20 to
Yeah.
£25.
Yep. Yep.
And with the cost of living has gone up
Mm.
so much here in the UK, it becomes a very expensive hobby.
Mm.
So for people, if
Yeah.
they are, and we're seeing more in clubs and gyms now, people have got secondary jobs, they're doing other things, and they're
Yeah.
doing fitness
Yeah.
as a part-time role. If this is your sole business, then it would be very, very difficult to make an income by teaching in the clubs. Now,
Yeah.
having said that, we're seeing a lot more instructors now, my age or older, who are retraining in reformer, and
Mm.
they're getting reformer studios. There's a lot of commercial space around the country, a lot of commercial space after the lockdown, and so we're seeing quite a lot of instructors now who are leaving clubs, seeing the opportunity for reformer Pilates, and they're setting up. And that's a big outlay though. That's a
Mm.
big outlay to do that. But we're seeing more and more in that. So yeah, it would be local classes, hiring out church,
Yep.
schools,
Yep.
halls. They might be doing outdoor boot camps,
Yep. Yep.
just generally community space in the area.
Gotcha.
And then they're creating community classes there.
Awesome. Let's even spend a minute that side there. There's probably a few ways we can go. Would you even suggest, let's say someone is in a gym, group fitness instructor in a gym, would your suggestion be, right, that's great, do your stuff there, but also position yourself so you can open up on your own and run your own
Yeah,
group fitness program there?
100%.
Pricing on that side of things, do you have what are your guidelines there? And hey, you're running whatever, it's probably going to depend on the amount of sessions, but yeah, any guidelines on what someone should charge for that?
For their community class,
Yeah.
we're looking at micro markets around the UK. So what you would charge in London, Essex, the
Mm.
southeast would be different to what you would charge in Manchester,
Gotcha.
Newcastle, or the north. It's the same. It's everywhere's a micro market. So
Mm.
it would be you need to look at the area. What's already going on? Is it saturated? Have you got budget gyms there? Have you
Mm.
got high-end country clubs, golf clubs? Do a recce. You need to do a SWOT analysis of what's there. Are there other people doing community classes in the local area? area. What's the market like? What's the general, how many people are there in that area? Generally now we see that people don't want to travel a long way. They want convenience, they want parking, they want to be able to just drive to your location, get out of the car and literally be in the centre in a minute. They don't want
That's me.
anything. Yeah, nobody wants friction. Everybody wants a frictionless. So that's got to be taken into consideration. And then look at the venue. Is it warm? Is it clean? Is it friendly? Is it welcoming? What's the price point of it? And you've got to do your due diligence. And I always say with everybody, before you go doing anything, before you need to make sure that there's a market. So if I went to an area and found a room and thought, okay, this is potential. Yeah, it's available Monday night at 6 p.m. Great. Footfall looks great. It's got parking. I would then go out to all my social media and say, okay, I'm thinking of starting Pilates Monday night at 6 o'clock. I need a waiting list. Let me know who's interested. Now, if I posted that 10 times on my Facebook, I went onto the local Facebook groups. I asked everybody in my phone. I sent a text message to everybody. If I'd got maybe, let's say 60, 70, 100 people that said, yes, I'm interested, you've got a goer. Because out of that many people, then probably, I don't know, 20% of those people would potentially sign up. And if I'd got that, then I would go on and take on the hire. If not, then I would move on and try another location. You've got to do the work first. You check that there's demand first, and you've got to get a waiting list. So get a waiting list of people who are interested, or you could just get them in a WhatsApp group. If you're interested, everybody, come into the WhatsApp group. This is potentially starting in wherever. Who's interested? And then again, you can gauge the response. I think most people do it the other end. They find a room. They think, oh, this is going to be great. They hire the room, and maybe they have to outlay for so many weeks ahead. And then they've got to fill it. Do it the other way around first.
100%. And I've learned that one the hard way. More online, face to face is not too bad. I'm always been okay there, but I learned that one online as well. It's like create this course, and then no one wants it, and you just spend all that time. So and even I guess if people are like, I agree with all of that. I'm probably a little bit less, I guess, formalized. My even suggestion would be, hey, even just start, like, even if it's as simple as I'm thinking of, make a Facebook post, I'm thinking of doing this, comment below if you're interested, right? Even from then, even if you don't have a waiting list, even the comments, you can kind of gauge interest.
Yeah,
if you do it and you get 2 or 3 people comment, give up there,
Yeah.
But if you do it and you get, 10, 20, 30, 40, like Rachel said, they're not all going to sign up. That's, I think, another important point. If you make that post and 40 people tell you, yes, I'm signing up, 40 people aren't signing up, right? You're getting a percentage of those. No, that's great there. And I think I love that strategy, Rachel, because I feel it can be hard going online to start with. And not even from a side of, you got to know what you're doing face to face first, like that as well. But I feel if you're doing face to face, especially now with social media, it's just so much easier. There's your content. So much easier to get content if you're doing something face to face. I think it's easier to get like relationships as well. Like if you're running a local boot camp and you've got 20 people there, you're usually pretty close with those 20 people. So when you're posting on social media, those 20 people are actually going to like it and comment and that kind of thing. Whereas 20 online friends, it's not the same as a face-to-face thing, Testimonials, way easier to get testimonials face-to-face as well. So it's just such a good base that you can leverage to do that other stuff. Yeah.
100%. And there's so many things that people don't do that you can do. I think people think it's all got to be promoted on social media, and it has, but the power of Google and the power of AI, people are now searching ChatGPT for Pilates classes near me, or boot camps near me.
Yeah.
So you've got to make sure that your Google footprint is big. So that means it's going back to the old school, and people don't think this is relevant, and it's hugely relevant. On your website, you're blogging regularly, you're doing videos on YouTube. We're not trying to be a YouTuber, but YouTube is part of Google. So if you're using the right keywords and the right titles, so if you've got a boot camp or a Pilates class in a certain area, let's say Derby. I live in Derbyshire in the UK. So I might title 10, I might do little clips, 1-minute clips of me teaching Pilates. Could be in the class, it doesn't matter. Then I title every one of those Pilates in Derbyshire, Pilates in Derbyshire, Pilates in Derbyshire, and I upload them all to a YouTube channel. Now they're not going to get millions of views. People aren't going to subscribe, but what you're doing it is to be searchable and discoverable. You then take those videos, you embed them onto your blog, and your blog post is Pilates classes in Derbyshire, and you write a little bit with lots of links. And you think, well, okay, this is long long tail. This is long tail marketing. Facebook, social media, this is short tail. This is the fizz. This is getting people interested. But ultimately, you want to be bringing people onto your website and using Google. So people who are searching for Pilates classes like near me, your content then just comes up. It's the first page of Google, and you can do that relatively easily. And so then somebody that's searching for your service, searching for your local business, your content is then, it comes up in the search, so they're going to click through and have a look at you. And then they'll binge on you. They'll go and have a look at your social media. They'll have a look at your website. They'll download your free whatever you have. But I think this is a massive piece of marketing that nearly everybody overlooks. Any big business has all these layers of marketing in, and it doesn't have to take a long time. If you're making a reel for Facebook, it's only going to take you another 5 minutes to upload that to YouTube. You can then embed that from your phone onto a blog post. If you've got a WordPress site or a Squarespace or a Wix, you can embed it there straight away. And the other thing is, when people are looking for services and they go to your website, if it's static, they don't know if that website's been there years or if it's current. If you've got a blog that's updated regularly and it's interactive, people are going to see you as a current, oh yeah, this is interesting. There's lots, she's doing events, they're doing community, they've got a charity thing going on there. Oh yeah, she's doing online. This is going to be a far more attractive proposition to somebody.
Love it. We could do a whole nother episode just on social media, or attend Rachel's talk at Elevate, where I believe that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The other thing as well with that is, I feel if you are going to start online, it can be easier to do that with your current clients.
Yeah.
It's so much easier. Instead of if you're running a 4-week challenge or whatever it is, great, you can just go straight online, but it's so much easier if you do it with your current people that already know you, and then you get that base and you've done it a few times with people that know you and they're either your friends or you see them face to face, and it's so much easier to scale from there. So love that. We're coming a bit short on time here, Rachel, and there's just a couple questions I like to ask everyone to finish up with. So the first one is around mentors. So you're obviously a mentor for many thousands of people in the fitness industry. I'd love to know who your biggest mentors have been, and if you could answer this in a few different ways. If you could give us a paid mentor, so someone that you paid money to and you did their course or their mentorship or their mastermind, whatever it is, an unpaid mentor. So, you listen to their podcast or you follow them on Instagram or Facebook, whatever it is, and a book that either you read that opened your mind to fitness business stuff or business stuff in general, or a book that you recommend every fitness professional should read.
Okay.
So mentors, paid, unpaid.
Okay, paid. I've never paid for mentorship.
Ooh, there we go.
I've never paid anyone for mentorship. I am an avid podcast listener. I'm an avid YouTuber. At the moment, I read everything, watch everything with Daniel Priestley. Love Daniel Priestley. I've learned a lot from Daniel. I do all of his online workshops. You see, a lot of these people, a lot of amazing free content out there, and often their free content is amazing. And I would always start with somebody's free content. Utilize all of that. Take that as far as you possibly can. So Daniel Priestley, I like James Smith. He is a UK, lives in Australia, but his business.
Hey, I was going to say, he's big in Australia.
They're both, and Daniel's Australian. I love James Smith, especially now James Smith's put in a lot of great content around business out on social media. I love the Hermoses. You've met the Hermoses. I'm seeing a picture of you. I like I listen to Pat Flynn. I like Smart Passive Income. I love Tim Ferriss. I listen and watch all of the Tim Ferriss videos. Who else am I listening to at the moment? I love a podcast called, it's like a founders podcast. I can't think what it's called now. Like Who Built This? A guy called Guy Raz. Guy Raz.
Who Built It, I think it is.
Yeah, Who Built It? I like that.
Yeah, one of them.
I like Gwyneth Paltrow has got a really good podcast called The Goop Podcast. A new podcast that is just set up with a girl called Emma Greed. She's behind Skims and a lot of big brands. I like to listen to not just fitness, but I like to listen to people that have built businesses in other verticals, because it's all the same. Building a business, whether it's fitness, whether you're selling bras, whether you're selling clothing, whether you're selling this phone, the business basics are the same. And I think even more so now, you've got to double down, because AI is coming so quickly, and this is going to change the fitness game. I think if you and I were having this conversation in 6 months or a year, we'd be probably talking about something else. I think AI, and you're going to be able to make And I'm just making my own apps now because you can use AI to make apps, which is incredible. I'm not a coder, I'm not a web designer, and that's
Mm.
something that's always held me back. I've always got to pay designers, pay developers, but now that is going to be that's finishing really because this AI software is going to be helping you make your own apps.
It's great. There's some great names there. I love pretty much everyone you mentioned.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Daniel Priestley, he got me with his quiz the other day. I don't know if
Oh,
you've done that. Yeah, have you done his quiz?
yes, I've done
Yeah.
Score App.
Yeah. That's it. Score app. James Smith. Yeah, he's all over my social.
Yeah,
Alex Hormozy, I listen to all his stuff.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Pat Flynn I've met as well. I don't know if you saw a photo of me and
Yes, I
him.
did. Yes,
Yeah. I go to, have you been to Social Media Marketing
I
World?
have. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I go every year,
Yeah.
and he's there every year.
Kind of him.
Yeah.
I've been to traffic and conversion. I've been to that one as well.
Yep.
But you see, they're all online now. You can get all of their lectures online.
Yeah, I do like going in person
You
though.
like to go?
I do, just like one a year.
Yeah.
Social media world I go, I get out of Australia, hang out with Americans and people from other parts of the world. I go more for the networking,
The
to be honest.
networking, yeah.
Yeah. No, they're great. Are you a reader, Rachel? Any book
No, I'm not a
recommendations?
reader. I
No,
am
okay.
just a podcast listener.
Yep, awesome. All right, cool. Well, Rachel, that's pretty much all I wanted to get through today.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything I should have asked you but forgot
No,
to?
I don't think so. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed it, Jono. It's
Yeah.
lovely to meet someone who feels and reads the same things and
Yeah.
watches the same things and is inspired by the same things.
Yeah. Love it. All right. Where do we go to follow you, Rachel? You mentioned Facebook, Instagram, YouTube,
I'm
website, all of the
everywhere.
above.
Yeah, my website is choreographytogo.com. I'm on YouTube every day, Rachel Holmes, Facebook, Rachel Holmes Fitness, Instagram, Rachel Holmes. You can pretty much put Rachel Holmes in and you'll find me on any of the platforms. LinkedIn, I'm doubling down at the moment on LinkedIn, so doing lots of LinkedIn
Ah, nice.
content as well.
I connected with you the other day, I think.
You did.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Cool. Well,
Thank
Rachel,
you.
thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome.